Oh, oh. Oh my goodness.
It's a jamming little tune you got going on there.
Oh, thank you. And it was Gio Sam who helped me figure that out. So thank you. Um. So hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody. We're professionals, I promise.
Yeah, I know. Like I swear, I get the intro right every single time.
It seems right to me. Look, the show started. There were a couple of weird flashes in there. Don't worry, they were not subliminal messages to anyone at all. It
No.
works. Yes, Tina Jones, I have been busy today.
Yeah. So, would you like to introduce yourself and give us your
Yeah.
pronouns, please?
Yes, I am Johnny O of the Plot Hole Podcast. You can call me he, him, it, at, that, ass, all that stuff. It works. I don't care. You can call whatever you want. It doesn't bother me. Yeah, let's have some fun.
And I'm Ette, and I go by any or all pronouns, prefer they them, but I'm honestly I don't mind too much. And a quick say hello to the side chat while people trickle in a little bit. I know there's lots of stuff happening today, so we shall see who arrives here also. So, shall we say hello to Brainless, Carl Edwards, Tina, and who else is here? Is there lurkers? And Dora, and Mr. Spurner Raisin, Critical Couple, Mark Caesar. Oh, and anybody else, when you trickle in, if it's appropriate, I will say hi out loud or just send a little message in the side chat to you.
Hi, everybody.
There's Art.
I would say yes, Dora. It is perfectly acceptable, but this is not my channel, so I have to defer to our wonderful host.
I mean, I suppose it's not too naughty. And there's Mr. Pony too. So, I have been so excited for today because I heard that you were making a documentary.
Yeah, I'm actually in production for big production for one documentary, and then I'm in pre-production for a second. Looking forward to both of them. I'm looking forward to wrapping up this YouTube documentary here in the next couple of weeks. I have one more interview to shoot next weekend. Actually, 7 days we'll shoot that, and then I've got a skeleton of how I want things to go. I just need to fill in the pieces and then kind of smooth it out. So hopefully I'll have that ready by the end of September. At least mostly. It should be ready by the end of September, but we'll see how it goes.
So, okay, let's imagine I would like to make a documentary. What are the first few steps that I would need to do to be able to do it?
Well, first things first is you got to figure out what interests you. Because if it doesn't interest you, there's no way that you're going to make it interesting for your audience. It could be one of the most interesting topics, period. You could talk about the current situation going on with illnesses that we shall not mention because of reasons. If it's
Yep.
something that you just don't care about, you know what I mean, you're not going to be able to. Sure, people will look at it simply for the subject matter, but you're not going to evoke any kind of change. You're not going to evoke any kind of emotional reaction, which is ultimately what you're trying to do with a documentary. You're trying to inform and get some sort of reaction from your audience. So you have to find that subject that you're passionate about, or that you're at least interested about, because you'll be able to portray that interest and that passion through your storytelling while you're making your documentary. And then you got to research. I mean, that's the most intense part of any kind of documentary filmmaking. Like this YouTube documentary that I'm working on, kind of ipso facto, I've been doing research on it ever since I've been a content creator. So for about just over a year, probably a little bit before that as well, being a podcaster and talking with other YouTubers. So I've kind of gotten some of the information already just percolating back there. And then as I became a content creator, started dealing with some of these things that these other creators were complaining about or telling me about. I felt like I'd already had a pretty good grasp on the research part of it, and then I started diving into more specific questions that I wanted to answer. um, so yeah, and then it's pre-production like you would with any other film. Once you have your idea, you have kind of a generic, script-ish, or at least the bones of your story that you want to tell with a documentary. Then you go in there and you find interesting voices to help tell that story. You want to find relevant people, and those facts, the little bits of information that help paint the picture. And then you go shoot as much as you can, and you got to sift through all that footage and find out what. I've got interviews with people like Team Skeptic. I've got Schrodinger's Cat. I've got Brainy Beaver, and these guys can. Well, Schrodinger may not so much, but these other guys, they can talk. You get them on a subject that they want to talk about, and they will give you every little bit of information you want. I had scheduled originally like 30-minute conversations with these guys, and very rarely did they stay under 30 minutes. I think I had,
Yeah.
sure. I think Schrodinger's Cat was the only one that was under 30 minutes. And even that was
Oh,
like, it was just barely under 30 minutes. So then you got to go through all that stuff and sift and find out the good bits. And it's a lot of work, but it's actually really interesting.
I realized as well. And are you comfortable saying what the documentary is, or is it we're not going to talk about that yet?
Oh, no, no, no. That's fine. Yeah. So this documentary that I'm doing on YouTube is looking at the challenges that content creators face with the constant changing of the terms of service with YouTube, dealing with
Oh,
the algorithms, dealing with the inconsistency of YouTube enforcing their policies. Um, so yeah, basically, we're looking at the challenges that content creators have with YouTube, where censorship falls, and what is it YouTube's responsibility to censor information, um, all that fun stuff. Well, thank you very much, Mark. I try to keep them entertaining and informative at the very least.
see, I feel very lucky that I've not come across a lot of difficulties, so to speak, like
Mhm.
with any of that. Like, I don't think my channel is quite big enough to get there, if you know what I mean.
Well, so the when you're talking about interviewing people, I have a background in journalism. If you know your subject, you know how to push their buttons and get the answers that you want, um, which is ultimately what an interview process is all about.
Ah, well, maybe maybe I can take some tips off of you for that too.
Well, sure. I mean, your I think your show is pretty cool because you have a
Oh,
genuine interest in people's hobbies.
mhm.
So you
Oh
already kind of
yeah.
have an idea of what they do, and your genuine curiosity is what fuels your line of questioning, which is a very genuine place to come from.
Mhm.
Um, and people can connect with that. They can see your interest, and that in turn makes them interested. So you have a really cool show you got going on here.
Oh, I'm glad it's seen. Thank you. Wait, when you're doing your documentaries, what would you say would be the funnest part, and then the polar opposite, the not so great side of
Hmm,
things.
I think for me, the most fun I have is, man, that's tough. Probably doing the research where I
Oh,
find the most information that I want to, portray. Um, right now with the second documentary that we have in pre-production, it's a documentary about how the LGBTQ community has been affected by social or society pressures from the 70s and 80s.
oh
Um,
yeah.
and so looking through that, and we were at Eugene Hawkins, who's the producer for both these documentaries. Uh, he recently won awards at the Rack Focus Film Festival for Nail Gun remake that I actually got to play a role in it.
Oh,
So I was there with him, but you know, being at that Rack Focus Film Festival, there was one of the judges she was a liaison to an LGBTQ group in Texas. I can't remember exactly what it's usually like a liaison or a VP. She was involved with one of these with this charity, and just being in the same building, my wife was like, "Hey, my husband's doing this documentary, this, that, and the other," and she's like, "Look here, if you need some information, here's my card." Go check out the UNT. It's called, what she call it, the gay archives at UNT library. Says there's
oh,
so much information there. So and then it was like, oh heck, that's just 25 maybe 30 minutes away from me. So finding out that, hey, there's this wealth of information that's a stone's throw down the street. Let's do it. So that stuff is kind of cool. Finding those little bits of information, finding out how the narrative is going to ultimately um, kind of play out and shape. That's the fun part. The not so fun part, and there's really not. Look, it's not like I work at a coal mine, so it's not like oh man, I gotta go. Sifting, the most difficult part would be sifting through all this information, and because no one is going to sit through a 4-hour documentary. That's just not going to happen. I don't care how interesting this subject is. I don't care what kind of whatever you got. They're just not going to do it. Most people check out after about an hour and 20 minutes in a documentary. I'm
yeah.
trying to compile these all down into 20 minutes, give or take, so I can get into some short film festivals. So all this wealth of information all down into 20 minutes can be extremely difficult, and not lose important pieces of information. So that's the
Ah,
most difficult part.
see, that's actually what I was gonna say. Like, how do you decide which bits of information are like most important? Because
Right.
wow, there's
Yeah.
so like if you're talking about the LGBTQ plus issues and that time period, like that's gonna there's a lot there that are like really
There
important
really is.
plot points.
And
So
the
like,
thing that so what is helping with the focus on this one here is this was brought to me by um uh Tina, a Marvel girl from Schrodinger's Cat, his producer. She says,
mhm,
"Hey, I've got a cousin or two. This, she brought this idea to me and said, I'm thinking about this as a film or as a documentary." And so I started speaking with her. I said, there's a lot of story to be had, and we want to take it to, we're looking at travel expenses, and we're actually going to put some pretty big coin behind this. We're going to start a
mhm,
Kickstarter. So if anybody wants to get involved, that let me know. But we want to put some coin behind this because we want to, we're going to travel to New Jersey and New York and start looking at interviews down there and talking with the people who may have been involved with underground clubs and the community, that scene at that time, as well as talking to the people that may have been negatively affected by those types of pressures, like the fact that there are tons of people that were unfortunately forced to live a heteronormal lifestyle,
yes,
which caused obviously issues with depression and drug abuse and
mm,
underground, like everything had to be pushed underground sex clubs, which was part of the reason why the 80s saw a huge spike in HIV cases in the
yeah,
LGBTQ communities. how that affected families, how that affected the children of these people that were forced to live heteronormal lifestyles, so they wouldn't be, persecuted or killed because of who they are. So this
Mhm.
a lot of interesting things are coming out of this.
I
But yeah,
mean,
it is
there's
very difficult to pack all that into a
mm,
25-minute documentary.
if you ever want to check out a documentary based in the ballrooms, which was specifically in New York during that, like, it's in that time period, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Do check it out because that's that's where you want to go to get people's stories.
What's it called
Like
again?
it's the ballrooms in New York, and you can find like a lot of information in it when a documentary called Paris is Burning. It's one of my favorite documentaries. It's absolutely heartbreaking and tragic, but it is a really important one, and anybody who is part of the LGBTQ plus community should learn, a bit of the history to do with it. I'm sorry, I just give you more homework, but I
No,
do
no, it's
do
actually no. That's
recommend.
good.
It's on
These
YouTube
are
as well.
sweet. I'll have to check it out. But yeah, these are things that I want to take a look at. Um,
Mm,
because and that's another thing is trying to do something that's fresh and hasn't been done before.
mhm.
That's extremely difficult. But
Oh yeah. I mean that was specifically in the ballrooms was like would be like a safe space for like black people who are part of that community,
mhm.
specifically trans and gay men, where they had categories. I mean, the drag world has taken so much inspiration from that. The
Mhm.
whole category is was taken from the ballrooms and stuff like that. Like RuPaul refers to it all the time. You know.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. Because part of the production is we're going to be in New York, in New Jersey, and we want to get some B-roll and some film
Mhm.
footage, and possibly talk to some of these people that may own some of these clubs or at least been involved with these clubs in the past. So.
Well, you might be able to get a shot of where these places are and what they look like now because
Mhm.
and you could maybe get like landmarks from the documentary Paris is Burning. And after stream, I can tell you like a very interesting story about one of the women in this documentary, which is not so wholesome.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. I like to hear it. Lens flares and explosions that will help people. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I could. I don't know if explosions will be too appropriate for for this one, but hey, we're down on New York Strip. Explosions.
Yeah, we're just learning about boom.
Boom.
Okay.
We're learning about the drag. Boom. Wait a minute. That's not the kind that's.
we're,
Yeah.
we're learning about the language that was used back then so that you didn't out yourself. Explosions!
Right. Right. So there was one of the things that was always kind of interesting to me. There was I can't remember where it was in New York, but I remember hearing about an Electra producer or Electra talent acquisition guy. He's the one who signed Metallica to Electra back in the 80s.
Oh.
And it's really funny because he's not flamboyantly gay, but he is obviously out. You know what I mean? He doesn't hide the fact that he's gay. And to hear him talk about how here he's signing one of the this heavy metal band, and yeah, I've spent all this time in scenes and getting into metal clubs and all this stuff, talking about telling all these stories. And then he tells a story about going down into this certain area. I think it was in the West End, and I can't remember exactly where it was. I have to go back and look. But talking about how you could be walking down the street and you would hear the payphone ring, and it was somebody from one of the apartment complexes who saw you, who knew who noticed you and wanted to bring you up for a roll in the hay, so to speak. So that
Oh.
kind of stuff is that like it was like wow, that's kind of that's that's kind of forward if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being in your apartment complex, seeing somebody, hey, that's a cute person. Let me call this payphone that they're walking by and have them come up to my apartment.
Yeah, that's a bit but you know what? Like Grinder.
That's true. That's true. We've got
This is
Grinder and
so
Tinder and all this other stuff. So I guess that's true. Yeah. What is it? Swipe left or swipe right?
I
One
have
of those
no
two.
idea.
I have no
I'm
idea either.
lucky enough to have no clue what that is.
I've told my wife it's a good thing that I was able to find you when I did, and we were able to get married because I wouldn't be able. I don't know how to do it nowadays. Like all the online dating stuff.
Yeah, it's too
Mm-mm,
much.
I
I
knew.
feel the same.
You know, it's hard enough dating somebody in person for that first 6 months, but if you're now we're going to put this online persona on there, talk about really keeping up your um, the like the veil of who you are versus who you
Mhm.
really are, because I always talk about the first 6 months of dating, you're dating a fake person, and then it's after that that you start to really get to know the person.
Yeah.
um,
Oh, it was after that when Tusk really showed his chef skills
you had no idea
because
Tusk
we
could
were
cook.
very
He was
confident.
hiding that from me. So what he was doing, he was like, man, this is my, in case she ever decides she doesn't want to be in this relationship anymore, I'm gonna whip out the spaghetti.
Just like ho
Boom.
ho ho.
Bring her right back in.
Well, I think he hid it for a little while after, and then I started to try and cook, and he was like, "Honey, no, please don't." And then
Oh, yeah, you're gonna make dinner again.
oh
Okay.
great,
Yeah.
oh is that Thai green curry? And you forgot to cook the paste first. Great.
Yep, yep, yep. Uh-oh. There he is. I did because look, I know what I look like. I have to make sure and put all of my qualities up front, or else they're just the ladies are just going to not stop. Right? My wife, when we first met, I was like, "Hey, look, this is everything I can do. Boom, nothing else. There's no other, no hidden talents that I'm not telling you about right now because I look at this face every day. I know what I look like, and it's fine. I'm perfectly okay with it. So I've got to make sure and put
Oh
all of the bait
hey.
on the hook first.
Hey, that's
So
one thing we don't allow on this channel, being mean to the oneself.
I'm not being mean to myself. I just, what I mean? There's a difference between being mean and being honest, right? I'm not
Mm,
classically, whatever. I'm not that, you're not going to see me on a billboard modeling Calvin Klein underwear
I
for
don't
more
know
reasons than
anybody
one.
that is, though.
But yeah, it's no big deal. Spaghetti whips. Let's not bring kinks into the
Yep,
conversation.
yep.
Why not?
Naughty. No, because
Oh,
wholesome content.
wholesome. Sorry, wholesome. Sorry.
I mean, yeah.
When your
Yeah.
family is 20 overweight bikers, don't tell them you can cook. Yeah, that's probably safe. You'll never get out of
My
the kitchen.
family. My lovely, beautiful family.
I feel like bikers means something different here in the states than it does
Oh,
over across the pond.
what does it
I don't
mean
know.
there?
It's just a different breed of person. Like now they try to come. We're part of a motor club. No, you're not. You're a biker gang. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
not gangs. Where
yeah,
they're not gangs, they're just people who enjoy motorbikes,
right.
and they're together. Now that sounds like a gang, but no,
We're just a
not the 1%ers
we're just
like
a group
what
of
you're
guys that
maybe
like to get
talking about.
together and burn things and
Yeah.
steal stuff and
Oh no. Yeah, it doesn't mean that here. I mean, it does have negative connotations, but yeah, no, Tusk was never. He was never.
Yep.
Deny everything.
Deny, deny, deny.
No, but yeah, my family are all like big punks on, metalheads, and that's my family, which is very funny considering like you'll see all my family and then there's me on the back of the bike and I just kind of hop up and take off my helmet and I'm like, "Hi everyone,
I like that though. That's
welcome."
always fun. The unexpected things that's what I appreciate. That makes life worth living.
Oh, it's funny. See, now my head's like racking information for you. And like different sources like I have
Sure.
like in my head. Oh, because I swear, because I remember there was this elderly gentleman who I can't disclose too much,
Right.
whose hair I used to cut. He came out to me, and by elderly, I mean he was in his 90s. And I gathered he was maybe a gay guy, but I didn't know. And I don't like to like assume, but it
Hmm.
was just I was cutting his hair and he was telling me about Strictly and genuinely talking about musicals and things just kind of the stereotypes just kind of racked up. And then
It's not right that you say all gay people listen to show tunes. Well, what do you listen to?
yeah, yeah,
Show
he did.
tunes.
Yeah. And he would always have these like beautiful shirts on with like flamingos and but he was not out. Like
Yes, he
he was
was.
well, he actually
He just
wasn't.
wasn't. He just wasn't telling people he was out.
Well,
He was.
okay,
He was. It
okay,
was one of
that
those
makes sense.
visual things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. He never told like I was the first person he actually said I'm gay to.
Fair.
And he was
Well,
just
if he
this
was in his
cute little
90s, I
old man.
imagine there's a lot of
Yeah.
that oppression, that
Mm.
mindset. Like, I can't say anything because, they might stone me to death.
Well, exactly, because and he said that he just felt comfortable to say it to me. And I think it was probably because I was like at the time I identified as bisexual, while now I identify as pan. But I was just so like, this is me, this is meet my girlfriend, because at the time I
Hmm.
had a girlfriend. I was like, meet my girlfriend, and he was just like, right, this is okay here, and it just made his brain click, and he came out to me, and I was like, wow, and I just couldn't imagine getting to 90 and not,
Feeling comfortable. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that did, it broke my heart.
So that's kind of where that's kind of what fueled this second documentary was how that has affected these people, especially people again, coming at least in the States. I'm not sure what it's like across the pond, but in the States, the LGBTQ community has always kind of been here because we've had
Mm-hmm.
people have been gay for millions and millions of years.
Forever.
Yeah, right. Like it's a so new thing. No, it's not new at all. It's been going on since quite literally, people were people. But here in the States, it seems like that was a real pivotal moment. Late 60s, 70s, and the
Mm-hmm.
80s. 80s, specifically because of the whole HIV business and it being called gay cancer and whatnot. Even that was
Yeah, it was
used,
awful.
yeah, like how they weaponized this epidemic of HIV infection. They weaponized that
Mm-hmm.
against gay people. This is gay cancer. This is God's way of getting rid of gay folk. I'm like, my goodness, these people are dying. Okay, whether you agree with their lifestyle or not, have some compassion. I mean, this is still
And
somebody's son or somebody's daughter or somebody's brother or sister. You know what I mean? My goodness.
exactly. And see, the thing is, it like, yes, it was in the community, but not everybody who had it was part of the LGBTQ plus community either.
Right, right. There are people who got that stuff from blood transfusions.
Yeah, and people that got it from using dirty needles and stuff, like so many different things and ways you could. But they did a lot of blaming on the community that was not right. Like,
Hmm.
this is why I've never liked the finger pointing situations. I've never thought that works. I think maybe explain things rather than just be, it was them. Rather go, well, this is a couple of ways you can get this, just so you know, like,
Yeah,
da 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 da.
instead of asking the question, well, why does it seem that it's more prevalent in the LGBTQ community? Why is it? Because of what? Well, maybe it's because we're forcing these people to these underground spots that, they're forced to be one way in the public. And
Yeah,
in order to get out their let themselves be who they want to be, it's forced to these underground places that maybe aren't keeping they're not, not dictating, but they're not, suggesting that, hey, look, maybe you guys should be using, safe methods, and because one thing that I've saw, well, not saw, one thing that I've kind of uncovered in my research is that there was a lot of bucking the trend because it was forced on they kind of felt like, hey, I have to live a certain way, but now, when I'm going to buck all the trends. I'm just going to do what I want, how I want, because I don't feel free outside of this, these places or these clubs or this, you know what I mean, this underground scene. So we're just going to go buck wild and buck all the trends and forget all the stuff, and we're going to do what we want, and that kind of helped, spread that HIV business, at least in um, that particular community. Again, it's not just gay people and homosexuals who were getting HIV. It was everybody, but nobody
Mhm.
wanted to acknowledge the fact that, Susie got it because she, needed a blood transfusion.
And then they had like the horrible terms like good AIDS and bad AIDS. Like
Oh
good AIDS
yeah.
if you got it through like blood transfusion, like bad
Yes.
AIDS was if you were gay or
Right.
used a
Part
dirty
of that,
needle.
that's part of that
Uh,
weaponizing of that disease.
mm,
So it's just disgusting.
uh, I'm really glad somebody's talking about this. Like people, well, talking about this more, and again, like it's not a nice thing to talk about because it's really horrible, but
Hmm.
I am really glad it is being spoken about. Oh.
These things need to be addressed. Yeah, I understand, Eddie. Yeah, there's a lot to that. Um, I and this is where like conflict for me happens. Like when I look at comedians like Eddie Murphy or Bill Cosby, they are genuinely funny people, with some of the best stand-up routines, but they've done some stuff that was just horrible. Eddie Murphy with his comedy that targeted the LGBTQ plus communities and highlighted a lot of negative things about me. That's that part. Like, come on, man. I get it, but it's a sign of the times, and it's how do you, it's not necessarily that, well, we're excusing the behavior because it happened at this time. Um, how do you reconcile that stuff? For me, this is where I think, you know what I mean? Like Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby himself is one of the funniest stand-up routines I've ever seen. It's probably top 10 all-time funniest routines, period.
Hmm.
But then you have to reconcile the fact that he was, not an upstanding person. He was a monster. So how do you reconcile stuff like that? That stuff here. Yes, Tusk, I do agree that Raw and Delirious, specifically when talking about the um, the gay community stuff, yeah, it went way too far.
Um, I'm just trying to think about how to answer your question.
It's a tough question, right?
Brainless.
It's a
It
tough
it
question.
didn't. I it like HIV and AIDS came from SIV, which wasn't an illness that apes and chimps had, which would attack the immune system.
From what I understand,
But
the
I don't believe it.
the great apes and the chimpanzee, bonobo, and I even think the gorilla, they are immune to the HIV virus.
Yeah. So I don't feel. I feel like I don't know enough information to exactly say, but I know that it's related to a disease that chimps did have. Although I feel like it's a fallacy that it was what you said being with one.
I think
I
that
feel like
was
that's a fake
perpetuated
news.
by,
Yeah,
yeah, that was
I believe
perpetuated
it
by,
is.
yeah, because that was another thing they tried to weaponize. We're talking
Yeah,
about how it was, it's God's wrath against black people. Like,
yeah,
come on, man.
and
It's just
hence,
stupid.
yeah. And as soon as they find out, like, chimps had like a disease or illness that was very closely related to it, they were like, well, see,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's hard to say because I'm not a scientist, but I am. While we were talking, I have found a couple of web.
Uh-oh, we lost the host. You mean I've got this show all by myself without? Oh man, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. We're about to derail. We're gonna keep it PG-13 though. I think she's coming back. There she is.
While we were talking, I will just abandon myself from the ship.
He said,
Cannot,
"I'm done with this. Let me get out."
cannot confirm nor deny. I'm sorry, I didn't mean
What
that.
does this button do? Oh
You know what?
no.
I meant to click back because I was actually on a page talking about the history of where HIV and AIDS came from, which and I meant to click back because I was gonna send it to you in PM brainless because I yeah, but I do not believe that that's what it was because I remember in high school we actually had a group of 7 people come in and they actually sat and educated us about it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things one of the kids said was it was because like humans had sex with like animals. Now this is not so wholesome, but I feel like this is important.
Mm-hmm.
And and the guy that was giving the talk was like, actually, this is not true. And now I can't remember what he said because I am thinking back to when I was like 14, and that was a while ago.
Oh wow, we had a similar thing. You were 14 when that happened? No way, because I want to say I was in like 8th grade. Maybe it was the same 14
Oh,
for me.
no, sorry. I mean, I was 14 when these people came in and talked about it.
No. Yeah, me too. I'm trying to remember when we had. I think I was in junior high. I want to say junior high. So yeah.
Yeah, my first interaction with that was my godmother who had full blown AIDS.
Mm,
So I grew up with her.
hmm.
And I was only a bubba when she passed on, but that was my first sort of interaction with that. But and then my dad and mom were both drug and sex education teachers, so I
Oh,
kind
that's
of grew
fun.
up with it, like knowing about it. But the
How
first
awkward were those
time the
conversations
school,
for you? By the way, I know it's a
with my
complete curveball.
parents,
Right.
and it was fine, because there was no blame attached and no like stigma to when I asked questions, if you know what I mean. Like I could be like,
Gotcha.
"Oh, what does blah 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 mean?" And my mom and dad would be like, "Oh, well, this is what it means." Like it wouldn't be like they wouldn't be like, "Oh, that's rude," or da 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 da. Like it was just, this is what it is. Like
Hmm.
this is what happens. This is So when we were talking about, it was embarrassing when I was a teenager, but when I was younger it wasn't so bad. But when I was a teenager and your dad's like, "Here, have some condoms, take them into school and give them to your friends who are sexually active." It's like,
I feel like that's a parent trap, right? Like that's a trick.
yep, yeah.
Like I'm gonna have you do the dirty work for me. So I'm gonna find out who you give condoms to. That way I know who to tell you not to hang out with.
I don't know. It might have been, but like
I'm gonna go to
my
Susie's house. No, we got things to do that day.
yeah. But well, it was kind of like there would my dad's work would provide them to the high school,
See, that
for
kind of
in
stuff
class.
just does not happen in, especially when I was growing up. Even now, right? Sex education is desperately needed in schools in the States, especially schools in the South where we have high rates of teen pregnancy and STI infections.
Yeah.
It's just, we're just going to pray it away. We're going to pray it away. Well, that doesn't work. Okay.
Nope.
Preaching abstinence does not work, period. So my goodness. we desperately need real sex education in the States because
Yep.
parents aren't doing it. You know, my wife and I, we do the best we can with our children, and they're starting to become that age. So it would be nice to have for them, for the kids, because I know how awkward it was when my mother and father wanted to talk to me about the birds and the bees. It'd be nice if I would have had somebody else, like a third party, somebody who I didn't see as this authority figure, parental unit, you know. I think it would have made it a much more, I don't want to say enjoyable, but it would have made it a lot less awkward.
Yeah. I mean, I think the fact that like I grew up in that shop, although Dora did talk about balloon animals, and now this reminded me of how distraught I was when I was a little kid. When, because I would be in the shop and my dad would be like demonstrating like how to put a condom on. Just like, this is how you do it. Like I would not understand what was happening because I was young and I
Mm-hmm.
I was so upset because I seen the teenagers blow the condoms up outside the shop and I was like, I want a balloon. Why do they get strawberry balloons? I want a balloon. Please, can I have a balloon? My dad's like, no, 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 honey. Like, this is not the type of balloon for you right now. When you're older, we can talk about that. However, please stay away from the balloon. Next minute, I was in the condoms, blowing them up. Like that was when they realized I should probably be sat down in another room coloring in. Like, I was old enough to start acting stuff. They were like,
That's
off you
hilarious.
go. Yep, this is a new hobby corner apparently.
I'm telling you,
Need
when you
to
invite,
change the name of this.
we call it, yeah, right, exactly. Microraptor says, "At Johnny and condoms, what did I walk into? Are you giving Johnny the talk?" Johnny is he's very aware of the talk.
Johnny has kids.
I have four rascals here that will. Unfortunately, well, maybe it's because I didn't know how it worked. Hmm.
Mm. uh, I'm changing the name of this stream to not so wholesome content with Johnny Ho, loosely based on documentary.
There we go.
But now
There we
we've
go.
diverted. But I feel like it was far too much of a good conversation to pass up having.
Yeah, I mean, organic conversations are fun, especially, organic conversations about you wanting to blow up strawberry flavored condoms. I mean,
I was so upset. You know when you're like a when like a little kid does the dying fly tantrum, like
oh,
throws
yes.
himself on the floor. I was doing that, and then my dad was like, "You know what? You're ridiculous," and he just did it next to me. I was like, "I don't want to play with you anymore."
That's great.
I remember it so vividly. There's like horrific photos of it as well. I hate it.
That's awesome.
Oh.
Oh, thank you, Microraptor. I appreciate that.
Oh. Oh. And hello, be no just be. I was I was like, is this an innuendo that I should not
Mm.
read out?
Nowadays, you got to make sure. You got to be really careful with.
Oh my goodness. Hello everybody who's came in. Well, sorry that this is not like little ears territory today. But also, this is too good.
I have to say though, this is surprisingly clean for my types of talks. Just gonna put that out there.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, absolutely fun. These are always fun.
Mm. And oh yeah, oh no, I'm just oh yeah, and another thing that the guy that came in talked about. Now my brain's gone, like it's ticking.
Let's
He
just do
was
it.
just like, well, it was like, as I said, it was like 7 people that came in, and like by the end of the day, like there was like a loose game, which I thought was a little insensitive, but they made the game.
Mhm.
They were like, at the end of this, we're going to reveal to you which one of us has AIDS. So like it was to take away the discrimination of it. So all the kids were like there was, I'm saying kids, we were 14, but I mean still kids. There was like
Right.
lots of interaction with the person. So like we were like, we cuddled them when we said hello. Like there was like so much interaction with this person that like that, and it turned out every one of them had AIDS or HIV. And it was just to rip down them barriers and be like, look,
Mm-hmm.
we're all human. And that really, like, a lot of the boys who were like first making fun of these people then realized that they liked one of the women that were there because she was extremely attractive, and they just kind of was like, huh, oh, okay, like, and it just, I don't know how to explain it, but it really did just like break down a lot of barriers, you know?
That needs to happen because there's still that, for the longest time there was that stigma that if I even touch somebody who has HIV, oh my God, what's going to happen? Do I
Yeah.
need to go dip my hands in turpentine? You know,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, it's like I said, growing up in the '80s, I was exposed to a lot of that. Like outside looking in types of watching the whole reactions of. I remember when Magic Johnson was diagnosed with HIV and how much of a
Mm.
scandal that was, and um, and then the education system trying to do something about HIV and the spread of AIDS, but it was more again, let's go scare the crap out of these kids
Yeah.
and tell them that they just should never have sex ever,
Mhm. Yeah.
which is the complete wrong approach. That's just not, that doesn't do anything except make kids want to have sex. Instead of teaching them, hey, look, this is a perfectly natural thing, but this is how you can help protect yourself. You
See,
know,
I remember I've got like really broken memory of like posters being up around my city of like just one drop of blood.
yeah, these were like
And
scare tactics, man. These were things that you
no,
do
no,
to.
this was actually like, it was one drop of blood, and what it said was like, touch the drop of blood, and then you'd like lift up the thing, and it was like, you've just touched some, like a drop of blood that has AIDS or HIV on it.
Mhm.
It actually dies X amount of times, X amount of like minutes outside the body. Like
I think
this
it's
is
30
perfectly
minutes.
harmless. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see. My memory's a bit hazy from this, like, but I do remember like there being charts like all over my city with like these things up saying all
Mm.
this, and it was to try and fight against the discrimination. Because it was like, well, it actually
Right.
dies outside the body. What you've done is you've touched it. However, now it is safe. Like, because they wouldn't. I mean, it wasn't the wisest of like things to have done, but I understand why they did it,
Ours was a
because
little
people.
different.
Oh, see, we did have the hate and everything as well. Because I mean,
Well,
they didn't make Train Spotting about my city for nothing, you know. uh,
we had so our school counselor was the head of this AIDS education program, and she
mhm.
would come in and with a tennis ball, right? And she says, "Everybody, look at that wall." And we look at the wall. And she
Oh,
would throw a tennis ball at the wall, and she see how easy it was for me to hit the wall with this tennis ball. Well, that wall represents a hole, the natural holes that are in condoms, and this tennis ball represents the
oh,
size of the HIV virus. Like,
okay.
holy crap! So what
That's
you're telling
not
me
how
is,
it works.
yeah, what you're telling me is that even if I wear a condom, I'm gonna die. You know what I mean? It
Oh
was just,
yeah.
my goodness, I felt like it was just a
Oh.
wrong message for, and this is someone who was paid by the state to educate people.
Oh wow. See, we've had very different, like, I'm very lucky that I grew up with the parents I did, and lucky that the school system changed as I got into school, or like things could have gone really wrong, like, cuz people were stopping giving people like CPR because they were like, "Oh, I don't want to get it."
Right.
Like, people were stopping giving medical help.
Yeah, we had that call. I think it was in the mid, was it like the end of, I think it was the end of the '80s, right at the beginning of the '90s, that we actually had to legislate that if you were trained in CPR and you didn't give somebody CPR, if you were certified CPR, first aid, and you didn't render first aid, then you could be held negligent in their death.
Well, it's
Because of
true.
that. Yeah, because of that stuff. Now all kits come with that, the mouth guard,
Yeah.
which whatever, you know what I mean? Save the person's life, deal with the potential aftermath afterwards.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's just, it's crazy. In school, we were taught not to touch needles because they might have HIV on her. How long does it stay after that's set the body? Well, you shouldn't touch dirty needles anyway because it's not just HIV or AIDS you can catch from it. There's hepatitis C
Which is a
and
more
all these
dangerous one
other things. Exactly.
because Hep C can live on live outside of the
Yes.
body for just damn near ever.
Yeah.
Um, HIV is a roughly 30 minutes, give or take a minute or two, outside of a cultured, like if we were to draw a vial of somebody's blood, if it's as long as it stays in that sterile environment and cultured, yeah, it'll stay active for quite some time. But if somebody gets cut and they bleed on the ground, 30 minutes later, you should be fine. Wait 31
But
if it makes you feel better, you know?
But yeah, you shouldn't be touching dirty needles anyway because you don't know where they were from. In fact, there was this massive thing where my dad, oh, I told you what he did for a living. Like my dog took a poop, and my dad picked up the poop, and under that poop was a dirty needle that went straight through the poop and
Mm,
into his finger.
mm.
And that was like my dad's biggest fear, because not because of that, but because of who was that. He'd worked so hard to do the needle exchange and create the sin bins around the city where you dispose of needles safely so that it can't hurt children or
Right.
anybody. And because my dad was like, that could have been my little one, like that could have been me. But then he didn't know what or how long that needle had been there or anything. He's
Mm-hmm.
fine and everything's fine, but wow, that's scary.
Yeah, see, this country fights the sharp exchange program, which I think is so stupid. You want to help, you want to see infectious diseases
Hmm.
drastically drop, as simple as having a sharp exchange program.
Yep.
Excuse me, because you're going to have people are going to use intravenous drugs regardless if you have the shop exchange or not. That the biggest kickback we used to always get with sharp exchange programs or safe sex programs where they hand out condoms. I had a professor, and this was, he's a full PhD, a very well educated person, talking about, well, if we start handing out condoms, it's just going to encourage people to have sex. I said, no,
Mm,
biology encourages people to have sex. By handing them a condom, you're telling them that, hey, I know you're thinking about doing this, and I know that it's a possibility that you're going to do this. Here's a tool to help at least keep you a little safe.
yeah. And as well, even like there was also the caps that you could put on the needles that
Mm-hmm.
with different colors, so you could tell that that was yours if you were
Yes.
going to use it again, even though you really shouldn't. It
No.
was different color coordination, and
Mm-hmm.
they were just trying to educate without discriminating and without making people feel bad. Because if you if you if you go and attack somebody without trying to educate them, you're going to hurt them. And if you hurt them, you're pushing them away and they're not going to get the help they need or
Right.
deserve, because everybody deserves to get better.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. Here it's a lot of political stuff. There's a lot of political noise that it stops certain things, especially in the South, and it's to their own detriment. You want to help. Look, there are certain things that everybody wants. They want safer streets. They want cleaner streets. They want there's things that they want that easy, simple policies that like a Sharps program costs nothing.
Nope.
I mean, it costs next to nothing, and the money that you save from the decrease in intravenous disease control. When those numbers start going down, especially amongst the homeless population that use public hospital. I know this is something different for you because you guys actually have socialized medicine, whereas we have a pay as you. If you're rich, you can afford healthcare. If you're not, you can't. But the hospitals here aren't allowed to turn people away who are sick or need emergency medical attention. So if you start slowing that I don't want to say abuse, if you're going to slow that use of the system down of people who don't have the money, now all of a sudden the cost of healthcare goes down. So the money you save by implementing a Sharps program, something as simple as putting an exchange program up, my goodness, it just outweighs the amount of the initial investment. Again, the whole thing, it just boggles my mind.
See, Michael brings up Pose, which is, remember Paris is Burning I was telling you about?
Mm-hmm.
And Pose is kind of a TV drama based off of that time period.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk a lot about it in the TV show because it was where like people didn't want to get tested because if they got tested they knew, and if they knew they would feel different about themselves and da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot of that conversation that happens in it, which is a hard conversation to have. It's a very important one because if you just got tested every X amount of time, or after each partner or whatever, it would have saved so many people's lives.
Right.
It really would have.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's where real sex education comes in handy. Talking about that type of thing, talking about, hey, look, it may be an uncomfortable conversation, but having that discussion with your partner about potential, risk factors or whatever, and then both going and getting a blood test.
Yeah, exactly.
Simple things you can do to help slow the spread of, whatever. It's always been. And that stuff like that gets, well, we don't want to do that because it's just so stupid. Tusk, this is for you, Tusk. I hope YouTube moderator doesn't come in and nuke that comment that I just put.
Oh dear.
It's not a bad comment. It's just a link. It's a link to Tusk that he's seen pictures of me play. He's never heard me play. And that's the newest record that I'm on. So you can hear me play. It might need approval from the. Probably got nuked. Yeah, probably got nuked by YouTube.
Are you a mod yet on my page?
I am not.
Well, that'll help. So maybe comment just like orange. I don't know. That was a but then I can add you as a mod. To be fair, my laptop is a little bit slow. It struggles. My poor old Bessie. She's trying her damnedest to swear.
I just had to order parts to upgrade my streaming.
There we go.
Yeah. See, orange.
Orange. Because you weren't a mod, that maybe is what happened. I've just added you as a mod now, so maybe you can post.
See here. There we go. That's for Tusk. Yeah, they just auto delete them now because reasons. So silly, this YouTube business.
This is a little confusing.
Well, you continue, you keep doing what you do because these are fun. I love doing stuff like this. It's, having conversations, and it's always fun. This stuff is super fun.
I could definitely talk about all kinds of stuff for hours.
I mean, especially when you get someone like me who could talk your ear off about anything and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Oh. Orange turns blue, says Tina, and Tatty's just popped in. Hello.
Uh-oh. Tatty, we're in trouble now. What's up, Taddy? How you doing, sir?
Yeah, and then set the tails. Yes, exactly. You're
Oh boy.
very right, Micro.
Yeah, growing up, especially in the era that I grew up in the area that I grew up in, there was a lot of there was a I mean there still is, but there was a lot of hate towards that community. Everything was, oh, you're gay, and the negative connotations with the words and whatnot. And you think about the way that I think about the way that I grew up and some of the things that I used to say, the attitudes that I used to have. Thinking, man, that was just stupid. Um, you know, and it's not necessarily those are conflicts too, right? Because I remember being that dumb kid that would say, "Oh, that's gay," and you would hear people nowadays talking about that's insensitive, and you think, well, is it? And then you start to really put the pieces together and understand that yes, it is
Mm,
insensitive because you're using that
yeah,
as a negative connotation towards this, that, and the other. So you could be perpetuating the cycle of the hatred towards the LGBTQ communities. And so you start to go back and try and make those conscious changes, and then you have people that will still use that negative connotation of the word, and then you think, well, but they themselves are not, they're not bad people. It just, man, the whole minutia of what is acceptable, what is right, how do we stop this, that, and the other, and when does it
mhm,
become too overreach, and when does it not become overreach? Because I firmly believe that everybody should have the right to say whatever they want to say, if, as much as I may disagree with what they have to say. I think they have every right to say it, um, so long as it's not like, hey, you should go hang yourself and stuff like that,
yeah.
or
I feel like hate speech is not included in freedom of speech.
I yeah, in defining hate speech, it can be difficult from time to time. And even then, here's the thing. I would rather not curb hate speech because it's a quick way to identify
Hmm.
who the
I
the quote bad guy is. You know what I mean?
I do get that. But oh my god, you should have heard these young ones on the bus the other day. It was horrific.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
I
they,
mean, that's that's where education comes in. That's where we need to have people outside of just parents, because as a
mhm,
parent, I work full time. I've got side businesses and this, that, and the other, and then I also have 4 children, and we do the best that we can to educate them while we have them in the house, because they spend 8 hours a day at school while I'm at work, and it's different, right? So I'm not the only person that influences my children, so it's
mm,
important. It's important to have a strong education system that can also positively influence them and positively educate them about these types of subjects, be it sex, be it self-identification, be it whatever.
I
um,
do feel very lucky with what, like, I had a very privileged upbringing when it comes to them things because I think we had like the alphabet mafia bingo in our house, you know.
mhm.
We had one of everything and everyone, so
Right.
it was so if I did come home and say a word that wasn't very nice, my mom or dad would go, "Well, you do know what that word means. That word would be used against blah 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 because blah 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 is part of this community. Therefore,
Exactly.
and then I was like, "Oh right, oh I didn't know," because it's just a nasty word to say. So then you would say it, and then that's how you learn. Like not
Right.
everybody's and I didn't mean the young ones as in the TV show, but there was these four teenagers on the bus, and they were so proud that they were being charged with hate speech because one of them was racist towards a Polish police officer, and the other one was homophobic to another police officer. Now, I don't agree with what they said, but it was how proud they were with what they said as well that made it worse. You
Right.
can make mistakes, but
Sure.
that's not okay.
And I think that's where, That's where curbing hate speech. I think that's the negative. That's like the negative backlash of telling people, "Hey, you can't say this." Well, what's the quickest way to get a kid to do something? Tell them they can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't do this. Oh, I can't. Watch me. I'm going to
Yeah.
do it. I'm going to do it while you're looking at me. And I don't care what the punishment is. I'm going to do it simply because you told me I couldn't.
Like a cat.
Right, exactly. Hey, cat, don't push that cup over. Oh, really? This cup?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I had in my head.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I disagree with curbing of hate speech. Let them say what they want to say, and as unfortunate as what they say is, it helps to identify where potential threats are. It helps to identify how these people think, act, etc. And they can't use it as a means to want to do it more. You know what I mean? Like when you're younger, and like cursing becomes a thing. I mean, maybe it's different, right? It's like you want to make sure and use a curse word every other word because I'm not supposed to do this. So I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to do it. And then you become an adult. You start paying taxes, and you're out in the real world. Like, it may be a part of my vocabulary, but it's not like I have to, overuse these words. They just kind of slip in where they normally would slip in. You know what I mean? It's not like a bucking the trend type of thing.
That reminded me of the first time I was allowed to swear. My dad took me to the football for the first time. And my dad said, when we go to the football, you can swear. But till then, you're not allowed to any of these words out of your mouth. And I'm like, okay. So I didn't. And then I remembered this. Like 2 years later, I remembered this.
Right.
And I could have only been like 7. Possible that's the oldest I could have been. And I had a little pink tutu on. I had a baby doll under my arm. Hair and pigtails. Butter couldn't melt. That's exactly how I looked.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Dad, you know how you said like I could swear at the football? And my dad went, yeah. And I went, we're at the football now, aren't we? And my dad was like, uh-huh. Well, I stood on the chair and I called everybody an effing this. I think my favorite was you effing donkey. That was the best.
Yep.
Or you strumpet. And I thought that was a swear word, but it wasn't. Everything kept coming out my mouth, and my dad was horrified.
Oh yeah, so that's fun though. I remember the first time that my middle daughter cursed at me, and I remember the first time that my oldest daughter thought she was cursing, but she wasn't. She said something was bullshit, like ship, SHIP. She goes, "That's bullshit, right, Daddy?" I said, "Yep. You just keep saying it that way, and we're okay. Yeah. We don't have anything to worry about." But my middle daughter, she couldn't have been more than 18 months old, and we were cleaning up. We were cleaning up down. I was cleaning up the kitchen, and they had some toys out, and I said, "All right, it's time to clean up." And I asked her, "Hey, can you please go pick up your toys?" And I turned around to go finish cleaning the kitchen, and then I heard something that was, "Eff it, damn it." And I looked back at this cutest little face. She just looking at me. And I thought, nah, whatever. So I go back to doing what I was doing and cleaning, and they go clean up their toys. Well, later that same evening, I was upstairs and we were cleaning her room. And I asked her, and she's over here right now looking at me because she knows I'm telling this embarrassing story. But I asked her, "Hey, can you please pick up these toys and put them in a toy box?" And she looked at me with this look, put her hand on her hip, and even shook, gave me the attitude while she said in perfect English, "Eff it, damn it." I had to excuse myself from the room because I was laughing so hard that this 18-month-old little princess just
Oh, that's awesome. So you know what I meant by like the butter couldn't melt,
Yep.
like the cutest little.
That was the first thing I thought of when you started telling your story was, this one right here. Here she is.
Hi. Wait, was that the Ruts jumper?
I don't what Bella,
I think.
what hoodie is that? Is that Demon Slayer? Yeah, it's a
Oh,
Demon Slayer thing. Yeah.
I love Demon Slayer also. Yay! But for some reason it looked like the Ruts for just a second, like the band.
I'm not familiar. I know it. 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 Do you know who Eric Johnson is? We're
Not by
even.
name. Let me
We're
Google.
even.
Let
We're
me
even.
Google.
Mark Caesar says, Johnny, did that attitude cause any issues in school? No, believe it or not. They didn't give a whole lot of they saved their attitude for me, which I'm okay with. I'd rather them give me attitude and do okay in school than the other way around, like I was. I gave everybody attitude, but
I've heard of him. I just didn't know his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cliffs of Dover. Yeah.
Exactly.
Great song. Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, of course I know that. I feel silly now. But then again, names are not my forte. It took me so long to remember everybody's on here.
The funny thing about names is I'm terrible with names until I know the name. Then I'll never forget it.
No, I can also forget it. I've got dyspraxia, so my memory is not always peachy.
Right.
So
Microraptor, yes, my kids do have all the sass. That is absolutely accurate. 100%.
I just thought that. Oh.
Irish demon is a swear word on Johnny's channel. Oh no. Oh no. That's probably true. That is true.
Uh-oh. I don't know anything about that.
You don't know
Anything I need to know?
Irish. You know Irish.
Yeah. No, personally, I've seen some of his videos.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious when he said that he was going to not swear so much. I'm thinking, you're Irish. If you stop swearing, that's like 3/4 of your vocabulary.
To be fair, I swear like a trooper. Like, I'm terrible for it.
I have to say, and I hope you don't take offense to this, but you have one of the sweetest voices.
Oh no.
And to hear that I would love to catch you in a rant going off on people.
You need
simply
to come on
because
my show. So this channel, I try my best not to get into like intense subjects or anything, but that's just apparently scrapped today. But
nope, out the window.
On the TMI show, the Too Much Information show, of course I'm gonna have a rant, and oh my goodness, do I pop off sometimes. But
that's yeah. Do you remember the ALS ice bucket challenge, right?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. That she couldn't have been more than, I don't know, she was no more than 2 years old. I challenge, like to nominate.
Yeah, you should play GTA with us. If you have a PS4, you should get in amongst it because oh my goodness.
I had to retire my video games to my kids. They've taken over the video game. Yeah. I don't get to play as often. And usually when I do, it's with my son. Because like I said, they've taken over the video games, which is fine. That's pretty cool. Teddy Bogle, that's funny. I bet because like this is the first time we've met, right?
Yeah.
And hearing this voice, I'm thinking, wow, she's like, this is a really sweet voice. I can get behind this, really, really polite and nice and everything, it's very audibly pleasing. And then to hear, yeah, I swear I'm like, man, I've got to hear this.
Oh well, we will find something afterwards that I can rant about, and you will witness. Because the thing is, what happens is this is how I speak. Like I'm a little bit lower when I'm not nervous, and I'm always nervous on stream. So I'm a little bit lower than I am now.
Mm-hmm.
I've not made that a secret. Um, so I'm a little bit lower. And then when I get angry, the Scotsman comes out in me, and that is it. Like I'm like, oh, you didn't be saying that, no. You're like, what?
Yeah, everybody tells me that. Everybody tells me that that Scots speak English. I don't think that's true.
No, we don't.
Because I
Well,
speak
we
perfect
don't.
English and I can understand. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. I'm kidding.
No, no, but it is true. Scottish people speak Scotch, which is like
It's a mix
their own
between like
language.
Gaelic and English, though, right?
Yeah.
And by English, we mean Old English, like the Grendel type English.
Hmm. So it's not even like we are talking English with a Scottish accent. We're using our own language.
Microraptor says, when you're furious, we need subtitles.
Probably. Although I have been told, like, out of all the Scottish sounding people, my accent's the easiest to understand compared to, sorry, Tatty, but Tatty and Tusk, although Tusk is not Scottish, he's Irish, but
Hmm.
he has a Scottish accent because he was here so long.
Right.
Oh, and there's
Yeah.
others.
Like when Taddy gets going, there sometimes I'm listening and I'm going through my mind and replaying what he said like twice just to make sure. Like I think he just said I'm an idiot,
But I don't know.
but I'm not for certain. So I'm not, I don't know if I need to be upset with him or not. So I'm just going to nod and smile. I think that's why Taddy and I get along so well. Is that he could be calling me, all the names in the book. I'm like, yeah, okay.
It might be. I really want, like, Tusk mentioned this ages ago, but it's something I really want to do. I would like to. Well, Tusk is from everywhere. When he's shared, like, his family history, he's from everywhere. Traveler. But so yeah, like so basically, oh, there we go. This is a check out the TMI show on a bit of Tea and Danish's show. That's on Thursdays at 19 o'clock.
19 o'clock, which is my. Oh wow! I think I'm still at
It's
work at this
18 minutes past
time.
now.
Yeah,
It's 18 minutes past 19 o'clock now.
yeah. I might be
I'm
able to
calling it 19 o'clock.
be at a break. Be at a break whenever. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to pop in one of these days, just because I've got to hear. I've got to
You
hear
got yeah.
a swearing rant from you. I just have to. I'd have to. It's one of those things. I will not stop obsessing about it. I will. Like if I go on to the next T and Dana show, and you're not there, I'm going to be very upset.
Oh, I'm a host now, so I will be always there.
I know. I hear that, but then it's going to be like,
The
I've got
house is on
to.
fire.
Yeah, right. Something's going to happen. Like I'll be there, and it'll be all right. Where is she? Where is she? Like no, she had to go to the doctor for some son of a and I'll be the one going on a rant and be very upset, and because I'll just think about it and it'll turn, and like I'll go to sleep tonight. I'll have dreams about you giving out this rant, right? But I won't be able to hear it because it'll be all muted. You know what I mean? Because I haven't. Yeah, that's how the obsession in my brain goes.
Oh, honestly, like Tusk gets lectured as well in this voice, so like you have to.
I don't even know if I could be mad at that though, right? Like
Oh, you
if
can. You can. Once the novelties wore off,
probably.
yeah, then you're like, excuse you, and I'm like, well, you didn't even do that, did you?
I get maybe the novelty would wear off. I don't know.
I think it does.
I'm
Although
the kind of
some nights it
person I
doesn't.
look for those things though, right? That's like there are things that my wife has been doing for the 15 years that we've known each other that's still because that novelty hasn't worn off that I can't get upset about. I don't know if it's like I feel like if you were to be lecturing me about something in that voice, I would just not be able to take you serious. I would probably do it again. I would do the thing that I got lectured about again, just so I could get the lecture again.
Oh no. Is that why he does it?
Maybe. Might be it. He may just have you fooled. Like that's the thing that helps him sleep at night, you know?
See, every nighttime, right? Sorry, Tusk, I'm about to out you a little bit here.
Uh-oh.
But every nighttime, like, we give a cuddle, we give a kiss, and then I roll over, I get my iPad so that I can get my, like, audiobook up.
Mm-hmm.
And every night, just as I roll away, he starts counting down from 5, and I'm like, stop it, because he's then put a timer on me doing it. I then start to get flustered, and I start dropping things, and I'm like, stop doing that to me, pissing me off, for fuck's sake, stop it.
You said it. Oh, I heard it. I heard it.
Uh-oh. No, we didn't. No.
See, this is what we do. This is what we do. We get it started, and all of a sudden, like it starts as a drip.
Oh no!
And
it's a fun pop. Oh no, Tusk doesn't have a favorite plushie.
I bet he does. I bet he just don't know about it. It's probably
actually, I'm the one with like a hanging basket of plushies, and you know the ones on the bed for when he's playing his guitar.
That is hilarious.
In the background.
Like he sent the first time he sent me him playing a solo over a groove. Mm-hmm. You know, he's got this where it's his hands and whatnot. In the background, there was some stuffed animal. I'm thinking, aw, Tusk likes to cuddle at night.
He does not. He's the opposite. He does not like cuddles. Poor Tusk.
It's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to keep up his veil.
I'm not. You know,
it's all right. He's a big old fluffy guy. It's okay.
Oh, he's a fluffy guy, but he's not like a cuddler.
Do you think maybe he does it in secret when you're not looking? Like you ever come home from a day at work and he's had the day off, right? And then you walk into the bedroom and he's like pushing stuff away really quick, like, oh, you just woke me up. You think maybe?
Maybe.
Oh, I think so. I think it's like he's a it's okay, Tusk. You can be you can like all the plushes you want, okay? Anytime you want, just cuddle the plush. It's cool. Nobody's gonna judge you.
So we should do that for sure. Like I should like learn. No, wait. That's not a good idea.
No. Go with it. I want to hear what this not good idea is.
Well, the idea was to sneak up into the house when Tusk does not know I'm in the house. But last time I was going to surprise Tusk that I was in. I remembered that he had really bad PTSD and he's ex-army, so I may get injured.
May not be it. That's one of those ones that definitely isn't a good idea. Hey, let me sneak up on the ex-military forces guy. Don't do
it. I'm in danger.
Yeah. Probably not a good idea. It's got flashbacks to the time that the Scottish military invaded, I don't know, wherever.
Oh my god. And then I get attacked.
Dora, we're not plushie shaming. We're actually encouraging Tusk to allow his plushie cuddles out. It's okay. We're telling him it's okay.
Yeah. It's okay. If he wants to cuddle my squishmallows when I'm not in, he may do that.
See? We're encouraging. I have look, see, there's my one of mine right there.
Grogu.
He watches over to make sure that I'm actually doing work when I'm supposed to be working.
But what does he do when you have snacks? Does he just disappear, or
he does? He steals the snacks. That's what it is. I'll put a snack down and go get a drink. Come back, snack's gone. I'll look over here at this little face, and he's got whatever on his lips. Like if I'm having a chips or something. I'm sorry, if I'm having crisps,
Yes,
We'll have.
thank you, because we don't appreciate that language on this channel. Thank you.
Yep, yep.
Oh, this has been so much fun. Like, I normally have fun on hobby, but it's nice to just be a little bit riot.
There you go. Again. I'm going to be there the next one, the next tea in Danish. I'm going to look for it.
Oh, please do, please do.
Yeah, I'm gonna, and I'll be at work, right? Because if it's on Thursdays at this time, I'm usually at work, but I will stop what I'm doing to take a break to wait for the et rant.
Well, there's normally an it ran. I mean, I have a ran about pandas. I think most people have already heard it, so I'll wait till off stream if that's what you want to hear. My
No, it's
rant
got to be
about my
organic. It
feelings
has to be
on pandas.
organic. It has to be in the moment. Somebody has to irritate you in the moment, and I got
Oh,
to hear
right,
that.
okay, okay. See, the thing is, I'm not easily annoyed either. But certain things annoy me, like uh,
Yep.
bonus.
I'm making a list.
But yeah, pandas is definitely one of them. Like using up zoo resources for pandas. Whew.
Panda bears, those cute little guys that got black eyes all the time.
Yes,
The ones that
them evil creatures.
why are they evil? They're the cutest. They're cute as buttons.
Well, do you want to know what, right? The amount of money that has been spent on pandas in our zoo in Edinburgh is absolutely ridiculous. And
So you don't have a problem with pandas. You have a problem with the money being spent on pandas. If they didn't spend the
well,
money on pandas, then pandas are okay.
I do have like a whole thing about it because there is a conspiracy theory behind pandas
Okay, I
being
got to hear
an
this. I got to hear
evolutionary
this.
dead end. By
Pandas are an
the
evolutionary. Why? Because they always have black eyes.
No, because they don't want to have panda sex, and in fact, this is true. I can't remember how many. Is it like only every 7 months or something? They wish to procreate, and even that they don't bother. Like because they don't really want to
Mm.
keep going. And I reckon that like I have no problem with stoners. Like so, do not don't at me about this, okay? Like, but
You should
pandas are
add her
just
about this.
no, do not. But pandas are are just the stoners of the animal world, and they just sit in their little bamboo trees, eating, getting high, not having sex, doing absolutely fake all, and it's ridiculous. And then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have to go get pandas so that we can have panda sex," and the poor wee pandas are forced to watch panda porn to make them have sex, and they don't even want to. Just leave them alone.
Panda
Yes,
lives matter.
exactly. Leave the pandas alone in the
Have
little
you ever
bamboo
seen that?
forest.
Have you ever seen that footage from the zoo where I think it was like 5 little panda cubs that were playing with the zookeeper who was trying to feed them?
Hmm. I mean,
How
they're cute,
that's the
but
cutest thing in the world. Come
they
on.
are very cute. But
17 pandas
cuteness
climbing
does
on this
not.
one person and they're rolling around all like little balls of fluff.
They're toddlers. They're like stoner toddlers. Red pandas all the way,
Red
Dora.
pandas look like weird foxes.
Yeah, they look like raccoon foxes,
Yeah, that's what it is. A raccoon fox. That's actually a really good way to describe them.
but also like pan, other than pansexual, pangender, pancake, and actual pan is normally bad, right? I'm cherry picking information here, okay? So like pancreatic cancer, terrible.
Yep.
Pandora's box, terrible. Panic, terrible. Pandemonium, terrible. Panda, terrible. It
Oh.
falls in. It works.
Oh
Also,
man.
this was a conspiracy I made up when I was a very little girl that I did not like pandas because I felt bad for the axolotl because what's that the the World Animal Organization or whatever it is has the panda as a logo, and I was so upset because like I was like, pandas don't even want to procreate. Like at least axolotls are trying, and there's nothing axolotls can do with it. Do
Maybe
about it.
pandas don't like to be watched. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're very private when it comes to their activities of the love making.
So the zoo, yes, thank you, Micro WWF. The pandas fighting.
Mhm.
There needs to. So what you need to do is you need to put the pandas back where they're from. No offense to them. Just leave them alone. No, just no, not like that. Not in a racist way. Just put them in the environment that's appropriate for them.
That's just veiled. That's all that is.
Leave them alone and back away. Just leave them. Let the pandas get stoned, not have sex, retract their fetus back inside them at any given point. Leave them alone where they are. No, because that's what they do. Like, up until the point pandas give birth, they can, like, suck the baby back in and not have
Ah,
it. Yeah, pandas are weird. Like, they can do that. Yeah. Not so cute and fluffy now, are they?
no, they
I
are.
mean,
It
they're
just
very
there's a.
pro-choice, which I appreciate. But like, come on, come
They're
on.
liberal bears. I got you. Okay, liberal bears. Yeah.
but they, but like, they don't. Why? Like, what would you like? Why are you spending so much resources to make porn for pandas? Like, what is the point? Like,
That
there's
is
the worst
kind
part
of,
is it's the same video on loop.
but it's funny. I mean, just the fact that you know how they say that if you can think it, it exists in the pornography world. This just
Panda porn.
helps to like edify that point. Panda porn. Well, here we are talking about panda porn.
Oh my god, it's not okay.
Hey, we don't kink shame here.
I, I'm not in. No. It's just they're terrible. Honestly, I just like I like them. I think they're cute. It's just I have a thing against like why everybody loves them the way they do, and they're like oh, but they're cute though, and that's what they always say. And I'm like yeah, but like they're taking up like so much resources, and they're not even having the panda babies.
That's true. But again, now I just know what I'm going to do.
Oh no,
I know now. Yes, I've got it. It's locked. We're good. We're
panda
good. We're
porn.
good. No, I'm not going to do panda porn. That's just weird.
Well,
Because
see
I'm a
what
human.
happened. What happened to not kink shaming here?
No. When you say do panda porn, that means I'm going to be in the
I
film. No,
didn't. I say you were going to F a panda? No, I
that's
did
what it's.
not.
It's
Like
what it sounded like you said. I'm going to.
you're putting that in my mouth. Like
Whoa, phrasing. No, I
oh
will be getting a hold
no,
of Tusk though, because now I've got ideas that are percolating, and
panda,
this is
panda.
gonna happen. This is gonna happen. It's best that you just let it happen, because if you
What?
fight it, it's gonna
Cute
be
and easy.
so much
Oh
better.
no. Oh no. Tati, take that back. I will ban you and take away your wrench and block you. This is a
Send them
dictatorship
home.
here, okay?
Dora Nukas is back to documentaries of the nature kind. There we go.
Oh
Document some
no,
panda
what have we
sex.
done? Oh no. Easy to breed in Minecraft? That's rude. No, I do not. That is not acceptable. No.
Angry panda videos, a must watch. I have to see that.
Pandas are honestly, they're crazy. They like, have you seen the Carl Pilkington? And he goes
Mm-mm.
to visit the.
I haven't seen this one.
He goes. He's like, if I have to kick a panda in the bollocks, I will. I
Oh
love Carl
man.
Pilkington. He's like, I love him. I'm
Apparently,
like,
pandas are
yeah,
dangerous in the wild.
they are. They're really aggressive.
Yeah,
But
I
in the
wouldn't believe it, but everywhere I read about pandas, like, yeah, they'll literally rip your face off.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, just casually leave them alone, back away. Maybe they'll get some shagging instincts or something. Who knows? Who knows what'll happen?
Just let the pandas be pandas.
Yes, exactly. Axolotl lives matter, and they've been eaten out of house and home in Mexico, and we can learn a lot from axolotls who can regrow parts of their brain. What do pandas do? Get stoned and watch panda porn. That's all they
Do
do.
they really get stoned though?
Yeah, I'm sure the eucalyptus actually makes them high.
But do pandas eat eucalyptus? I think you're thinking of koala.
Oh no, no, sorry. The bamboo makes them high. I'm
Oh, bamboo.
sure. I'm
That's what
sure
it
it
is.
does.
I mean,
I'm
anything that
sure
can
it
it
does.
eats bamboo. You ever been hit by a bamboo stick?
Yes.
That hurts.
Yes.
That I don't know. It's not fun. Ouch. Ouch.
Oh no! Ouch! Such sore. Must never do that
Don't do
again.
that again, Tusk. What? Go ahead. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to go. I'm late. Son of a panda.
Oh yeah, see?
Son of a
New
panda.
new swear word. Rob, I'm really sorry. Apparently this just turned into chaos for this stream.
It did. That's
It
what
did.
happens when you invite Johnny O onto a show.
One person that made it happen. I don't know. Oh no! Like for all 11 episodes until now, I was so wholesome content.
You
I had
were.
the side chat told off. I was ready to threaten people this time, and
Nope. We're talking panda porn.
no panda porn. Oh, duh.
Yep.
It was a thing.
It was a thing. It's going to be a thing every time that I see you online. That's how I'm going to enter in the side chat from now on. It's going to be hashtag panda porn matters.
No, it does not. That, yes, I know. Even Tatty, poor,
I was going to
like
say,
Tatty
you
has
had
been such a
Tatty.
good boy, and
Yeah,
he's
you had
been
Tatty
so
in
good.
there. Yeah.
And he's been coming, and he's been behaving himself every time. And then you come.
I'm that chaos kid, right? That when you have parent groups that get together to have their kids to play, like I'm the one that they don't want to bring over because I'm the one that'll have all the kids that are normally all nice and prim and proper, drinking tea with their pinky out and nibbling there and cleaning. I'm the one that comes in and says we're having a water balloon fight in the middle of the kitchen. That's right.
Oh, see, that's my family. My, oh no, my dad brought his girlfriend over for the first time, like a while ago. And, well, we found out she had OCD real quick because we had an egg fight in the kitchen. Like, and my brother, like, made it so that like he lifted me upside down, and this was when I had hair. I couldn't do anything because I was by my ankles. And he was like using my hair to mop up the egg on the floor, and I was like, get me out of here. And then I washed my hair and it turned into scrambled egg.
That's awesome.
It was ridiculous, but that's how we found out she had OCD. Because she, as
Was
soon
she
as
picking up all the little pieces of egg?
no, what happened was for like for my birthday, my brother gave me an egg, and if I was to carry it around school, I was to get a prize. And I
Mm.
was really gullible, right? I was probably like maybe 18, so this is a little while back. And like, no, it wasn't school then if I was 18, because I left. I must have been 16 then. So I was like walking around with this egg in my pocket all day in school, and I kept it safe, yeah? Like this was like throughout my like I must have been 15 actually. You know what? It doesn't matter how old I was. I was walking around high school with an egg in my pocket that had a
Yep.
smiley face on it. And I kept it safe the entire day. I got home and I was like, this is on my birthday, yeah? I was like, oh, I made the egg. Like made sure the egg was safe. And like my brother just like slapped my hand, so like I smashed the egg on my forehead,
That's hilarious.
and then it just turned into a full blown egg fight. And like my dad's girlfriend at the time came in, had a full on panic attack, and left. Like
Couldn't
it's
handle
not
it.
okay. It's no, she couldn't handle it, and so we had to fix everything, like and make it and be like, look, everything's okay now. And then she like would see a bit of egg, and she was like,
You gave her PTSD.
I know,
My
I feel
goodness.
so bad. I feel so bad, but and I'm normally very sensitive of these things, but it was not okay. Well, she stayed with my dad for about another month, and then realized that we were probably too much chaos, and then they weren't together after that.
Wow, you ended a relationship. That's
I think I
hilarious.
didn't. To be fair, like my brother was like 9 years older than me as well, so like he knew better. I had no like. This is a this is an egg.
Oh man, I've had a blast. It's been lots of fun.
Well, I feel like we definitely need to have you on again and actually talk about
We
documentaries.
could actually do the thing that
I
we
would
said.
love that. I think I need to make this a new thing. I need to edit out the intro and like put another one in. Like, I'd be like, ramblings with Ette. Would that be a good one? I don't
That's a good
know.
one.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
ramblings
could
with Ette.
keep it hobby corner. We kind of talked about documentaries in the beginning. Like for the first 20 minutes of the stream, we talked about documentaries, and then everything else after that was all about panda porn
And
and
yeah,
egging your dad's
absolute,
girlfriend. And
absolute chaos.
yep.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe the chaos that was created.
Again, that's why people invite me places, because with me comes chaos.
See, I was like, everybody behave yourself. I even told off poor Mr. Pony in the side chat for being rude, you know?
Hmm.
And I was like, naughty pony, like, remember where you are, sort of thing. And then, and then like, 10 minutes later, oh yeah, panda porn. Oh yeah.
Tusk, yes, I do. Give me a second. They're really piss poorly recorded, but let me find you some. Hang on before we take off.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh, it's almost time to we end as well. Well, since it's utter chaos, is there any questions for Johnny?
yeah,
Since we
ask
did not
away.
actually do any of that. I need to
Uh,
like I know, hanging out with Ed.
there you go.
That will what this is going to be called. Hanging out with Ed one. It's chaos.
Let's see here. Utter chaos. This here you go, Tusk. This is old-ish, by the way, and it's terribly recorded. But there's that, and then of course you could do the Bandcamp for the new stuff. Let me get you that. I put it in the chat earlier, but I think you took off. So,
Yeah, do you have a favorite meal or recipe that you'd like Tuss to try on his cooking channel? And then I could eat it.
Let me
That's my part in
see.
that, to be the belly.
Um,
I'll put this up. Do you want me to put this in the description
if you
or
want,
not?
you can do that. That's fine. Yeah, that's really just more for Tusk. He was
Okay.
curious to see some of the recordings of me playing. You can get, like I said, it's all done from a telephone, so nothing's the sound is terrible, but it is what it is. Man, let's see here. I usually do I don't know, it's tough. What has Tusk cooked? What have you cooked, Tusk? What are some of the stuff
Oh,
that you
oh.
I've seen the spaghetti one. Um
The spaghetti monster?
yeah, seen the
Yeah, those are
spaghetti
my
monster.
favorite.
Let's see. You know what, Tusk? I'm not sure how versed you are in American comfort food, but
No?
I would like to see you do a traditional, or not traditional, but I like to see you do a Southern meatloaf with mashed potatoes.
Yummy.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
See, anything that's kind of meat into veg, we don't get to eat very often in the house. And because Tusk cooks a lot of like other like as he said, like Asian cooking and soul food, like that's his like thing. So
Well, if then you should know good meatloaf then.
I don't think I've had a meatloaf
So
Tusk made.
it's
Perhaps
different. It's more
it's been a
comfort.
while.
Yeah, it's more comfort food than it's soul food. But yeah, that
Mm.
with that soul food knowledge, you should be able to do really good meatloaf. But yeah.
Yay! Did
Yeah.
you just get me to have like meat and two veg? Yes, you did. See, this makes me so happy because I just never, we never get that food. Like, we never have like American food or even like British food. Like,
Yeah.
so like, I was so excited that last night for dinner I had box pasta. Like, I'm like, yay! And he's like, oh
Guess our Asian foods with bamboo.
man. Uh-oh.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, hi Rob. Sorry if I didn't say hi. I just recognized you now. Did I
Mac
say
and cheese, yeah, you can get some people to make some really
hi?
bomb mac and cheese. Yeah, that is a good comfort food.
I like the non-watery.
White people food is super dull.
He can say that though, because
Yeah,
he's
I make a mean chili
white
too.
people. Ooh,
Yeah, if you
you can have a chili off.
yeah, but my chili is always hot. My kids don't like it when my kids
Yummy.
love it when I make it. Because I make them their own, right? That's not spicy, but I make mine super spicy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yummy. I love a good spicy chili.
What is your level of spice? I'm curious.
Mine?
Yeah. Like where do you stop?
I don't know. I find it very hard to explain because the other day I wasn't feeling very well, and Tusk made something with like just peppercorn, and I felt very poorly. I don't know why, but other days like he makes like
That wasn't me, Tusk. That was my wife.
he ranted about that for like a month.
So did I. I was very upset. Was very upset because I just got it and it was in the fridge and I was getting or it was in the fridge and I was getting ready to have some. I was going to make something. I forget what I was going to make.
Chicken wing.
Probably it may have been a chicken wing but yeah, I was getting and then I even had it. I had meal planned and everything. I was like, cool, because I'm in grocery store. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get that, and I come home like, where's the Tusk sauce? And my wife got real quiet.
Uh-oh.
I said, where's the Tusk sauce? She goes, I dropped it.
You were like, divorce, out the window, goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I did appreciate it, Tusk. I did appreciate it. And if you
Did you
send
at
some
least get to
again,
taste it?
I got one little taste and it tasted good. But I didn't get to really truly enjoy it. And it's not the first time that she's done that sort of thing to me, by the way, but we'll leave that one.
Oh, so we have to send some again.
I mean, you don't have to, but if you did, I would definitely. Yes, I need some more Tusk's special sauce.
It feels so weird being able to joke about these things. But oh my goodness. But my auntie and uncle are Malay, so they made like a lot of. When I was a baby, they used to make spicy noodle, and that's what they called it, spicy noodle.
Spicy noodle, yeah.
I don't know what exactly that was, but it's spicy.
Be careful what you wish for. Like, I mean, if we're talking about, Make it as spicy as hot as you can make it. I'm good with that.
Oh, see, what type of spice? See, Tusk's now gonna be like, oh, you're shit with spice. Like, and he'll also say, oh, you're shit at drinking. But I drank last night as much as everybody else, and I wasn't on the floor like everybody else was. Okay? Yeah.
I'm you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not going to get involved in the. I don't want to be that guy that stirs the
Nice
pot in your spot, in your spat with Tusk. Although I think that's what would bring out the rant that I'm looking for.
it. No, but it's true. He says, he's like, like, you can't drink very well. But I drank half a bottle of gin and I was fine compared to everybody else.
How big a bottle?
I don't know.
Because if we're talking like half of like one of those airplane bottles,
No, no, it was not. It was the other one, the round one.
hmm,
That's not helpful. Um, I will get the bottle later and check the size. But yeah.
fair. I'm just
Although
giving
I
you a hard
think
time.
it was not 20 ml. You can go suck a fuck. I mean,
I'm
you
just
can do
gonna.
naughty things.
I'm just gonna sit here and let this happen.
Ah. But yeah, last night was an intense night out. Although that wasn't the half a bottle of gin and half a bottle of sours. That was like a girly night few days, a few weeks ago. But I did suffer and I did hand in the air and potentially be very hungover during a hobby corner.
It happens. I used to drink. I mean, like bad. I had to quit drinking. I quit drinking 4 years ago, um, because yeah, I would go to the bar and drink, like full bottles of whiskey, and
Oh,
it's just not. It's not a good look for me when.
no.
Just not a good. It's just not good for me because yeah, I would go out and spend $200-300 on myself.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-mm. And then my wife, she quit drinking, and to kind of support what she was doing to
Oh,
help her, I quit as well. And it's actually, I've saved a lot of money and my health has gotten
yeah.
better. So yeah.
Well,
Um,
as Rob Park says, congratulations on the 4 years.
well, thank you, thank you. I mean, I miss sitting down and drinking a couple of beers every now and again, but it's a good thing that I don't because most of the time, I could go out and have a beer or two and just not. Well, I say
Yeah.
most of the time. Some of the time I can go out and have a beer or two and be good. But like whenever I would host poker nights at the bar, it was I can I'll have my comped beers, the two comp beers, and leave it at that. No, it was two comp beers and another 10 or 12 other beers, and then God knows how many shots of whiskey, and yeah, by the time it was all said and done, the I ended up spending money when I was there to make money, and yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
not
see,
good.
no. See, that was the first time I'd gone outside. Set like I did say a hobby corner. That was fair. That was fair. I take that. But that was the first time I'd actually gone out with like my friends because I
Mm.
normally go out with the family and we normally do that as a family. Like so it was so weird doing it with actual friends. I ended up being the mother hen.
I can see that.
I stood with an umbrella over a girl that was passed out. Tragic. And that really, like, as much as it was fun, that was not fun.
No,
You know, like,
yeah, we've
what
all
else
been
was
there
I gonna
though.
do?
Just
No,
yeah,
it was the fact I had to chase a random guy away from her who was gonna
that
take her
stuff.
home. That
Yeah,
was not fun.
that right there. I've never been the some random. "Oh, we're gonna random. No, I've never had to deal with that, but I can understand that being not fun. for the ladies having to deal with guys that are trying to take advantage of a situation. We call that rape, by the way, people.
Yeah,
Just
that
in
is
case you're
exactly what it's
curious, that's what we
called.
call that. That's called rape. So if
That's
you,
what I told the taxi driver, and the taxi, like, because I was like, oh, like, I just didn't want, like, I can't remember. I just got off the phone with Tusk, and the taxi driver said something, and I was like, sorry? And the taxi driver was like, um, like, he was just chancing his luck, and I'm like, he was just chancing jail.
yeah, yeah. There's a difference between walking up to a girl at a bar and saying, "All right, hey, can I buy you a drink?" and then one thing leading to another. But it's quite another when you see somebody stumbling out, like, "Oh, I'll take you home." No, that's not
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And I made sure the worst part was, like her friend called this girl's dad, who was a police officer, to come
There
and
you go.
collect her
Yeah,
to take her home. Like the safest place she could have been.
right.
But like how embarrassing that your dad, who's a police officer, has to come and collect you from outside of a place. Um, but at least she was with somebody safe. Because I was
Right.
not leaving her till she got in a car with somebody I knew that was safe with her.
Sure. And that's good. That makes you a good person.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do.
Most people don't, though. They just, oh, whatever, and walk away. That's just
To be
terrible.
fair, one of her friends did say, "Oh, she'll be fine." I was like, "She will not be fine. She's cuddling a bollard. She doesn't look like she. I don't think she knows what's going on here." Like I just sat with the umbrella over her, and she was like, "Ah," and then I was like, "No, this is not an invitation to go asleep now.
Yeah, yeah. No, stay awake.
Up you
Yeah.
get, up you get."
Yep. All
Yeah,
right. I
this
really
this
do have
made
to
me
get
think it was
going.
not a good idea.
I don't want to get going, but I have promised myself somewhere else. It is a busy day for me today, but
Oh yeah.
I've had so much fun.
Well, thank you ever so much. And I'd love to have you back. I shall do the outros and free you. Would you like to share anything?
Just check out tomorrow's news episode. It'll be a lot of fun on the old plot hole.
And I believe everybody already knows you who's here. I don't feel like you've seen any new faces.
I've seen a couple of new
Oh,
faces.
well,
Yeah.
if you aren't subscribed, get your butts over. And well, love yous and leave yous. This thing, this is the thing that
That's the
I
thing.
did. Yeah, I did that. And then the outro. Bye bye.